You're listening to Glow On with Charla Story
and Jennifer Wilson. We're not just photographers. We're your trusty guides in the world of photography, business, and a bit of life wisdom. Every week, we'll be lighting up your feed with practical tips, inspiring stories, and a sprinkle of humor just to keep you smiling.
We've captured luxurious weddings, mentored talented students at Develop Academy, and navigated the ups and downs of the photography world to bring you insights and strategies that work. Whether you're looking to sharpen your skills, boost your business, or just hang out with two friends who get it, you're in the right place.
So grab your favorite beverage, get comfy,
and let's dive into another episode of Glow On. Why, hello, and welcome back to Glow On.
Yes, welcome back, everybody. It's been a hot second, but we're excited because today we are chatting with Jimmy Lick from Second Society. If you've not heard of Second Society and what it is, basically it's about to change the game, and you're welcome for introducing you.
Oh, yes. If you haven't heard of it yet, you're about to hear all over, and as you should, because it is changing the game. We are super excited to actually be partnering with Jimmy over at Second Society.
And Charla's sweet baby Ivy is also very excited to be here. So without further ado, Develop Academy is bringing you Second Society. Let's go.
So here is Jimmy. We are so excited to be chatting with Jimmy all about second shooters today.
Let's do it. I'm excited too. Thanks for having me on, guys.
We're so excited. So glad that you're here. I will never forget the first wedding I ever photographed. I was the lead, which was a mistake on their part.
Same.
Oh, great. Should have.
And our part maybe too, actually.
Yeah. I mean, probably should have been a second shooter first. But I think that we both have second shooting memories that could claim some responsibility for the success that we've had up until now, because you learn so much, or you can learn so much as a second shooter if you apply yourself correctly. So I think that there's just so many great avenues we can take today.
100%. I just want to say that I was also a lead the first time I shot a wedding.
What? So we're all
I feel
sociopaths?
like that's honestly like the way a lot of people have started out, right? In their own little circle. And it's usually your friend or your cousin or whatever it might be asking you to shoot their wedding. Yeah, exactly.
Friend.
So yeah, it's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. But second shooting can come in on the second wedding, and then you can learn a lot right after that.
You know, actually to this point, it makes total sense, because I feel like in order to be a wedding photographer, you have to have a certain amount of crazy, and it's probably the same amount of crazy that makes you so confident that you're like, have camera can photograph anything, really anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or maybe the stakes are so low that you don't need a ton of confidence. You're like, okay, I'm doing it for free anyway.
True. Depends on the moment.
Right.
I guess. And we can teeter.
The sociopath.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How many of you are currently insulted or also like, at least we've chosen a great medium to put that energy into, at least.
It's true. Well, we gave you guys a little bit of insight into why Jimmy's here on his fabulous intro, but we feel like it'd probably be good to hear just a little bit about Second Society from the man, one of the men himself.
The man.
The man himself.
I am the man. I'd like to thank myself for believing in myself.
That's it. Yeah. Happy to be here, guys. Thank you so much again for having me on. Second Society is mostly a vision at this point. It's about 3 years in the making. It's a platform where you can easily find amazing second shooters all around the United States and around the world right now. What started out as a huge problem and a pain point for me when my wife was kind of transitioning out as my go-to second. But also during COVID, we were booking up a lot of weddings, and then there was a lot of postponements as well. And so they were double booking on dates that we already had. And we just found ourselves in like a lot of trouble trying to, stay true to the weddings that we already booked and then stay true to the ones that we're postponing. And that was a big problem for us, where we had a crazy wedding where we needed a ton of coverage. We needed 3 shooters, and they had to be amazing at what they did. And someone that I could trust with the planner that we were assigned to. And so then Second Society was born, where I was like, I need a platform where I could shoot any wedding anywhere and find amazing videographers in the area. And so from there, it was kind of born. And already I feel like it's already gone into a complete different direction than I thought it would ever go. And so that's where we are today.
I think
It's
that's amazing.
Yeah.
truly, anytime you can like solve a problem in your industry that you're having over and over, your peers are having, it's such a nice place to go somewhere and feel that you can automatically trust people. Because like as we go, okay, so whether you're new to shooting weddings and you are the second shooter or you're the one hiring second shooters, it's such a great place to like meet and network and gain experience, but also to really understand what second shooting can encompass based on what type of weddings are being photographed, because this is actually not an all created equal position.
No.
And more now than ever. Like we recently did a details class over at Develop Academy on how we're shooting details today. And you guys, we did a podcast episode, so hopefully you heard it and you were along for that journey. And we really included you on that. And we're able to take so many of your questions and insight and take it to planners and get it answered. And what they told us, which was one of the things I found the most fascinating, was that they do not understand why second shooters aren't the ones shooting details, or why we don't bring in somebody to do it so that we don't even have to stress or worry about it. Yeah. Whereas I know so many photographers in the film fine art era, like absolutely thrive photographing details. And to their point, they were like, then either way, each person should have a role instead of everybody just shooting whatever's around them. Like your job is candids, your job is details, your job is the mother of the bride, whatever it may be. And so that changes things, because now beforehand you're having a pre-planning meeting and you're getting roles and the way you're dressing is elevated. And so it's fascinating to see planners think of us non-emotionally as a tool that could be doing so much more than what so many people actually utilize their team for. And so thinking of it more of a production and a team versus just bodies that are there to make you look bigger and better than you really are.
This month's Glow Up is here, and it's giving exactly what you need right when you need it. Each month, we spotlight one of our most loved courses that pairs perfectly with what we're covering inside our mastermind in the Glow. And the best part? It's just $99. So if you love a good deal, grab the Glow Up of the month at developacademy.com/GOTM. That's develop with an E, academy.com/GOTM.
Yeah. I think it definitely changes throughout your career too. And as you get into more elevated weddings, like at the very beginning, when you're starting out, a second shooter is a helping hand, jack of all trades. They're, have experience doing everything, and you just need a big helper for that day. And then obviously, as you get into the luxury market, you're bringing on 3, 4, 5 shooters. Then obviously you're charging a lot more and able to pay them to take on certain risks, right? Just like as companies grow, you bring on more team members to be more strategic in certain areas.
Yeah.
And so it definitely changes, and you have a myriad of different shooters out there. You're going to need regular second shooters who are, have a couple of years experience. And then we also have, second shooters on the platform that are 10, 15 years in that are amazing at one certain aspect.
Right. Well, and I think it's a great thing to think about, really, regardless of where you are in the market, is to be a well-rounded second shooter or third shooter is a gift, no matter what pressures you're going to be put under. Because to Charla's point, to be able to, it's like if every football team was just quarterbacks, there would be no game, right? Like they would lose all the time, because that's not how that works. And so it's really cool to be given permission to kind of rethink the versatility of a second shooter, because there legitimately was a time where you would sell your second shooter as a different perspective of the same moments. You would literally say, and they'll be by me capturing the things whenever I'm busy or gathering myself, or they'll be like slightly to the side so you get a different angle. Like, why was that ever a pro? But it was something that our clients wanted. They thought that was attractive. And it's just crazy to see how we've evolved from you're going to be my right-hand man, or you're just going to be who I can make jokes to. I can carry this wedding on my back by myself, and I just need someone for comedic relief, or, to grab waters. To now where we're at the point where even if you are shooting lovely weddings or budget weddings, you can still have the same amount of intention that a luxury wedding photographer is having with their team, even if you're all growing together. What if we are really hyper intentional, and as a team, we seek out ways that we can go above and beyond our competition in how we utilize our team? I think that's so much more impactful than what we were doing.
Yeah, it's like a whole mindset shift. It's more of like the industry is changing, and instead of everybody's focus being the clients, the brides, the grooms, it's the experience overall. It's the whole experience. So hopefully, like, you could go into galleries of videos and photos and have different POVs that you could pull from and have a vision of what it felt like to be that person's perspective on a wedding day, because we're looking at it in this mindset of how do we tell this whole story really fluidly, and what pieces to the puzzle do I need to fill in with my team for that to be a really, really compelling story. And that's the shift that hopefully, if you're listening to this and you haven't found yourself having that shift, let this be your permission. You heard, like, not only us talking about it here, but planners saying, why are you not just utilizing people like this? We trust you to hire the right people to do these things. You don't have to do it all yourself. So it's more of like, let's start to tell this story as a whole and thinking and approaching everything in that way.
Okay. I would like to hear your perspective on that too, just from somebody who's out there that's saying like, hey, I'm only charging $3 or $4,000 or $5,000, and you're asking me to hire amazing second shooters to take care of details, somebody that I can trust, and it just doesn't seem like it works in my budget. How would you kind of, speak to them, I guess?
That's such a good question. Actually, wow. Okay, so there's some things that can happen here. If you're charging $3,000-$4,000, whether you're doing photo or video, and then you're hiring somebody with a lot of experience, if you intend to take that content and it's what you're marketing, you're going to leave a bad taste in the person who you hired's mouth. They're going to feel like you used their work and talent to catapult your name and brand. So you have to be tactful in business always, and understand that when you're filling in this puzzle, it is whatever your puzzle is right now. And when you finish that puzzle, maybe it's only 100 pieces right now, but you're going to get to that 500 piece puzzle. You don't have to have the 500 piece puzzle right now. If you're providing a service and imagery that is at the $20,000 bucket, if you will, but you're only charging $5,000, you're doing a disservice to everyone. That's not the goal. The goal is understanding that no matter where you are, when hiring, you should be looking to fill in whatever you're not the strongest at. So let's just say for photography, if you're not amazing at candids, then you should be looking to hire somebody who is, so that you can fill in that story. Not necessarily going and hiring, a Jennifer Wilson to come be your second shooter, who's really just, you're going to use all of her images for publication and stuff. So it's more team than it is making people feel used. And it's understanding that what you need to do excellently now so that you can also do it excellently later when it's bigger.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I did have a friend, a really close friend, hire me to come shoot her details. She had a huge wedding, and the planner was one of her best friends, and we're very close. And I was like, yeah, I want to go hang out with my friends in one of my favorite places. So I went. She paid me well, which is great. And I can anticipate everything she needs. I can anticipate her every thought. And so I was just constantly reading the room and trying to figure out what she needs, what I could shoot that I know she is thinking about right now but can't tend to. And every time we bumped into each other, she was like, I don't know how to feel, because I have so much peace and so much comfort, and I'm not stressed about anything, that alone is stressing me out. What am I missing? And then as she delivered the images, she was like, I think this changed my life.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever want to feel the way I used to feel. I don't want galleries to not look like this ever again. And if that means I do need to charge more to hire somebody of that caliber, then I think that's my goal going forward. So I think just understanding that when we have a different end goal, we should certainly be approaching things differently and what that can look like and feel like, not only for us, but also planners and clients.
Well, and to that point too, Charla, I would say that like sometimes it's because they're better at details or they're better at candidates, but sometimes it's also because the timeline is not going to allow for you to be in the place that you wanted to be, and you have to choose, or the client would rather you be there for family photos, even though you'd rather your second do it. So like just being aware of what's actually needed and assigning the right person. And Jimmy, I think there's another level to the question you asked Charla too, where it's like, if you're only charging $4,000, how do you afford? We're not looking to hire someone who is 5 levels further into this game to go hire, like to shoot details for us that day. But what we might do is we might look up one rung. We might say, who is someone that I could trust, who's doing a better job than I am, or who might see the world a little differently with a little bit more polish than where I'm at this moment. Like Charla's not going to be reaching out to Jose to photograph any of her details right now, right? Like Jose doesn't need any of us. But not to say that he wouldn't do a great job and that he wouldn't hire Charla to come shoot at one of his events. So it's got so much nuance and there's so many levels that I think it's just really cool that we can be in a position to fly across the country and go shoot with incredibly talented friends and put their day on a different perspective, a different plane, versus what it used to be, which was just show up, look nice, grab the water, and maybe you'll be shooting things on the dance floor, you know?
Yeah. I definitely want to speak into like having just a mindset of being intentional and proactive rather than reactive. And one example I want to say is like I had an amazing wedding set up and I was just kind of going through the motion, right? I would hire one second shooter with me that was good and have them on that day. After or during the wedding, ceremony was so much further away from the reception than I thought. And so there was just a lot of walking, running around, setting up that was going on. And my hands were tied. Like I'm doing the busy work. And my second is also stressed out. And it was a huge planner that now in retrospect, I'm like, dang it. Like I missed the mark in delivering amazing details. We got them, but I mean, we were scrounging around, like running with our, heads cut off basically. And so I think one thing I just want to say is like, if you can stretch it a little bit and always bring on a third or say, okay, what are my weddings looking like this year? What weddings are really going to stand out? What are some that might be one of the best ones out there? Maybe hiring a really good second or even a third to help you out so that you're going into the wedding with, these amazing people on your team, which is going to, eventually elevate your brand in the future.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's a trajectory changer when you use it as a strategy.
Right.
Because if you can take, and even for video, like at this point, it doesn't matter what we all think and feel and what we want and desire. What is. And what is vendors. That is, you stay with me, guys. Vendors, wedding professionals, they want to give their clients an amazing experience. That's what it's all about. It's about them getting to have as much fun and peace on their wedding day as possible. And we know and understand that. We also know and understand we have to be able to market ourselves in a somewhat saturated market where we all do very similar things. And the difference is you're hiring people primarily based on mostly design and connection. And you can't connect with people without great content. So at this point, so many of us are going into wedding days. And if we're being strategic, to your point, Jimmy, we could be hiring a third person or a content creator that's getting content very specifically for those big planners at those specific weddings as a strategy, like you mentioned, so that they can be like, hey, I also got all this really great vertical footage of just details for you that you can use for your own marketing. It's just anytime you can pay more and get better quality and think of a story, not only of the client, but also for the vendors, then you're going to be really changing the trajectory of your business.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think where my brain kind of goes, at least where it comes to Second Society, is you mentioned that one of the ways that you are shaping this is kind of a little bit almost like Uber, because like you get to rate your second shooter after you're done. And I think that that's really impactful because like it's do y'all remember the days of like just texting a friend in a tizzy and being like, I need someone this weekend. They have to be amazing. That I need to be able to see their work, and like tracking down their work and tracking down full galleries and all of these things. And it's just stressful as hell when your favorite second backs out on you in the last minute. So talk to us a little bit about the way that you've shaped Second Society to alleviate those pain points, regardless of the experience level or price level that we might be shopping for an assistant one day.
Yes. And also convince us that it's not Black Mirror, like that episode of Black Mirror where everybody was like rating each other when they walked by.
Yeah. 4 stars.
I missed that one.
Oh, well, it's horrible.
Okay.
You should definitely check it out to make sure that you're distant from it.
I think I do know what you're talking about.
It was the first season, so I feel like you saw it.
Okay.
Yeah. She was like a perfect 5 and just has like a really terrible day and loses her mind and ends up like at a 0. So
and it's like everybody has their own rating.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I could just walk by you and be like, she doesn't smell good, low rating, or she smelled amazing, high rating. Just random.
Oh, that's wild. Black Mirror, such a good show. Well, sorry. What was your question? Basically how the rating system works?
No, just what are the guardrails that you've thought of with Second Society that will help whenever people are having those moments of like, but how do I know that they're qualified enough for this gig? Or how do I know they can handle this one part of the day I'm going to need them to help me with? Also, like, what's their vibe, you know?
Yeah. Almost like the community aspect of it.
Yeah. So, number one, it's obviously that you have your own profile as a second or a lead shooter, right? So there's a little bit difference there between your website between your website and a profile on Second Society. A review from a couple or, your clients is going to be way different than a review from a lead shooter or a company that has left you a review about second shooting, right? Those are two different things. So clients are usually going to rave about you and how you showed up on their wedding day and you provided a service. So in this case, it would be a video or their gallery. And they're like, oh my God, Jimmy was amazing, right? But then when it comes to a company hiring you, how did he show up as a second shooter and help your brand move forward? That's a completely different review. So that's why these reviews are so important, because you're hearing it, straight from the company's mouth, like, hey, they showed up as a second shooter and crushed it, right? And so our job as Second Society is to obviously build more and more trust in each and every single profile that comes across here. The other way that we do it is, seeing previous companies that you've worked with. And so this is kind of where that community aspect comes into play. If you go into my profile, you'll see that I've worked with, I think like 15 other people on Second Society, all the reviews that are there that I've worked with all these other different companies. So that I've had experience shooting with all these other companies and that I have complete 5-star rating. And so there you're already making judgments if you can actually trust them on your wedding day and how they're going to show up. Obviously, on top of that, you have your portfolio, your thumbnail images, all your galleries can be linked there, a bio about yourself and how you show up, what your personality looks like. And so you're trying to create this avatar for people so that they can see you and within 10 seconds already give a really good idea if they're going to crush it or not for you.
That's fantastic.
It's genius. It's really very genius.
I'm very jealous.
I know, it's so nice, right? It's what do they say about having babies? Like, oh, we didn't have all that great stuff 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about AI editing too, which I know is coming to video. So congrats to you guys.
Yeah.
I know we saw such a great opportunity to team up Develop Academy with Second Society and kind of put together what would, if I were stepping in to become a second shooter for the first time, or maybe in the middle of, or maybe higher end, what would be like dream second shooter requirements and expectations and any kind of like tips and tricks that are in there. So we did want to invite anybody listening to share any insight that you might have either as the lead or the second. We'll be kind of in threads and out there gathering information from you guys as we usually do to make sure that that content is very true and specific to the needs of now.
Yeah. And I think, I think there's going to be a through line through all of this of like what to expect in a second shooter, but I think it does vary just depending on the clients, where you are in location, even different countries, right? Like different countries. I know Australia has a completely different morality versus United States and what to expect when you show up to a luxury wedding there, right? Like it's kind of different all over.
Yeah.
So definitely take it with a grain of salt as
Oh
we kind
yeah.
of go through these points. But
Like 4 a.m. in France. They go till 4 a.m. every French wedding. You're like, that's a long day. That's a different staffing situation, right?
That is.
Yeah.
they start at 4 a.m. and go all the way to like,
No, they
No.
go until 4 a.m. They have
Or
like an
go.
after party and an after party, and it's still like half the guests. It's wild and amazing. They have multiple meals, but like that's a 16-hour day. Like you might want two chunks of people.
I would
That's
want
insane.
2 chunks
Yeah.
of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm gone. I'm gone by 10.
Yeah. The next team comes in 10 to 4.
That's right. That's it.
That sounds great. Hire me for the first part, please.
The 9 to 5.
Yes. It's I don't know. I think there are so many things too that I think photographers and videographers alike maybe don't consider, is that like second shooting can legitimately be the bridge in between like a booking lull. Second shooting can literally be how you pay off debt. It can be so many beautiful things, while also, there are people who never want to lead shoot weddings, but they have full-time careers second shooting.
Yeah.
So there's just so many different ways that you can utilize this incredible aspect of our industry, if not just for how beautiful of a way it is to build community. Truly, there's nothing like being put through the fire of a wedding day. Like if you, we see some things. So if you come out on the other side of a even a great wedding day, but especially a hard wedding day, still liking that person and wanting to talk to them, then that's a friend,
Yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure. Gosh, and you know what? You reminded me with that. It's also a great way to dip your toe into the market you think you want to be in, because I have had people that were like, I can't wait to shoot this caliber of wedding. It's all I'm working towards, all I care about. And then second shot in that environment and was like, I actually didn't enjoy it. That actually isn't for me. And what a blessing to figure that out ahead of time. Or maybe you did it and you're like, it's harder than I thought. And I know what I need to work on to be excellent at that stage. It just makes sense. Like you see your boss doing their job before you apply to do their job, right? And so we're all wiling out here, but it is a way for you to actually take like, okay, is what I have made up in my head the reality? Let me go find out. Is that for me or not? And again, all companies and businesses and the creatives should be starting with their why and their specific life and working backwards, and shouldn't all have the same goals. And so this is such a great place to give everybody permission to deliver excellence for fellow vendors and clients, but also perfectly and competently be in whatever sector of the industry they love. And
Yeah.
it's okay if it's different for everybody.
Yeah, it's so cool. Like we've had so many testimonies that are kind of all different. One where, somebody paid off his entire mortgage that month using Second Society only, while they pursued a completely different career outside of weddings. They were kind of tired of weddings, but amazing at them.
Mhm.
And so they could be paid really high level, while they pursued a completely different path in their career, which is just so awesome. We've had another guy come in that moved across country, had no connections here, used Second Society and got hired almost 8 or 9 times throughout that year. Now has connections, now jumpstart his career while living here in San Diego. We've had other people, that couldn't find a second, posted a job on Second Society, and they actually brought in somebody from out of town who got the job posting because the way our alerts are set up, using AI, it brought them in, right? So they were able to see that job post and say, hey, I'm actually in town that weekend and I'm available and would love to second shoot with you. They hit it off. It was a great wedding. And he was like, man, I would have never hired that person had I not been able to post it through Second Society. So thank you for that. So it's just all these really awesome stories that have come together, and everybody has a different why, just like you were saying. And so, yeah, it's kind of a place for everyone to be.
I am kind of blown away that it hasn't existed before. Like, I know there's been things that were similar, but like not. And so it's definitely something we needed 10 years ago. So I'm excited to see where it goes and excited to hear what everybody's input is on what they like. What would you want a second shooter to know before working with you? Or what would you want to know before being a second shooter for someone else? Those are the things that we want you guys to go comment on our social or email us at hello@developacademy.com.
Well, I think this is so fantastic, Jimmy. I cannot wait to see just where this goes and how it impacts the community overall, because I think that this could be one of those like linchpin moments where we look back and we see like, oh, you know what was one of the wave makers that we can see that started this ripple effect. And I think that will be socially and with the level of work. And I think that'll be really cool to look back on and know that you're legitimately responsible for some of that change with this amazing idea. And we're excited to partner with you and play a small role.
Yeah, excited to be here, guys. Thank you so much again. Super grateful to be a part of your community and everybody listening. Just grateful to be here.
It's just the beginning.
Amazing.
I know, right? We also know that Jimmy's going to be joining us at Glowcella, which we have the dates we're about to share and about to start sharing all of our Glowcella details and stuff. So keep your eyes out for that. You'll be seeing Jimmy again there and, of course, our collaboration. So we look forward to hearing from all of you and diving into this adventure together.
Woohoo. Yay. We're always the worst at saying goodbye. Why are we like this? Goodbye.
Have you guys seen that like comedian that's like, he's like, in America, you guys are so rude and short. Like you just say like, okay, bye,
Yes.
bye. And he's like, in Britain, it's 30 minutes. Like,
Is that right?
so
Yeah,
supposedly.
he's like, he just goes back and forth. Have a nice day. Oh, you look so great. It's going to go wonderful. Oh, I know it will.
We're so proud.
Ongoing thread.
So it's this.
Yeah.
What it is this.
Yeah.
It's
We have to
just
do it
like
with
this.
a British accent, though.
There we go. Oh,
Are you
don't.
sure?
Mhm.
We're going for this?
Don't you think?
Who's
Either that or we
first?
gotta go.
Who's first?
Please don't make me do an accent.
Look at it.
Now we have to. He's turned.
Good thing
he's
it's on
turned
video. He's
red.
blushing.
Oh,
I don't know. I
I
just think
don't.
it's probably time to go.
We're quite proud of you, Jimmy. It's gonna be amazing.
Bye, young chap.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheerio.